Paper Mario 64 is one of my favorite games of all time, and always enjoy making videos based on this game. But you know what I don't enjoy in games? When characters are jerks for no apparent reason, other than for the sake of being a jerk. There are a lot of characters in this game that play small and large roles, and out of all the characters I was able to find from a list online, only 10 emerged that I personally found to be kinda dickish. They are Chet Rippo, the Goomba King, the Koopa Bros, Huff and Puff, Junior Troopa, Colorado, Ken C. Koopa, Mayor Penguin's wife, Rosie, and Tubba Blubba respectively. I didn't include the other main bosses or enemies from the game because they were either just following orders and had no intention of going out of the way to be a huge jerk to Mario and were just doing their jobs. Notice how I included normal non-enemy NPCs along with normal enemies? Yeah, it's because these normal NPCs are quite the rotten bunch that serve as annoyances to Mario more than anything, and I'll explain in detail for each one in order. Starting with Chet Rippo, this shady guy may seem helpful to newcomers who makes an offer they cannot refuse, and that is to enhance one of the stats for a fee. It sounds great and all, but he doesn't tell you that one of your other stats will be decreased in exchange, and there are no refunds. It's a dick move for people who had no idea what this guy is all about, but useful for skilled Paper Mario veterans as they can use it to their advantage to maximize their stats, but he's still jerky nonetheless, but he's pretty much still a saint in comparison to the other characters on this list. Next are the Koopa Bros. These Ninja Turtle wannabes have been a nuisance to Mario and friends even before the chapter began. They disguise themselves as black toads to prevent Mario from entering the path to the fortress. They also laid down many despicable traps throughout their fortress, like planting a fake block and hiding keys and such. They're just doing the job and all, but they're always rubbing in his face and acting like teenage brats. But I guess that's the point of their character. From the beginning to the end of the chapter, they had stood their ground to protect the Star Spirit card and could have handled the force of the plumber after all. Next is the Goomba King. His Majesty of the Goomba clan is an uptight jerkwad who planted his little fort right in the middle of the road to Toad Town and Goomba Road, and literally gatekeeps anyone from passing through for no reason. He has done this for a while, and tourists cannot get by without being harassed by him and his minions. Anyone who blocks the only path to a certain location other than to harass bystanders is incredibly inconsiderate, and the Goomba King who exercises his fullest authority as king is no exception. Next is Huff and Puff. This is a sentient dark and thunderous cloud who has literally conquered an entire flowery kingdom of sentient flower residents who are all suffering because they cannot get any nutrients from the sun that they desperately need to survive. All because this dude is selfish enough to shroud the kingdom in darkness with clouds because he feels like it. They even created a device that keeps the sun from rising and will stay this way until Mario arrives to defeat him. If that's not being a dick, then I don't know what is. I feel like even before he worked for Bowser, this is a personal vendetta he had against the Flower Fields residents and was going to do something like this anyways. Next is Junior Troopa. This eternal rival will relentlessly follow you to the depths of the earth, all because you were in his little playground area in the prologue chapter and has not let it go ever since. Not once has he taken a break from fighting Mario to test his skills. This guy literally learned all sorts of magic and fighting moves and trained, hoping to defeat Mario once and for all. That is some serious dedication, like seriously. This tenacious little brat is always insulting Mario and still gets his butt kicked every single time. For a baby, he sure is temperamental. Next is Colorado. He doesn't seem too bad at first glance, but when you actually get to know him more, he is kind of a selfish man, all things considered. For starters, he is always away from home on expeditions to search for treasure and whatnot because his greed knows no end. I understand it's part of his career, but he's always leaving his poor wife behind at home, and she's worried sick. His true greedy nature is revealed in chapter 5 when you venture into the volcano, where he lets his thirst for treasure consume a whole and is willing to endanger others just to get what he wants. Not really the nicest guy in the world, but he does show some good intentions every now and then, so I'll give him some credit. Next is Ken C. Koopa. This behemoth is literally a troll bully because he just stands around all day blocking the path to Pleasant Path and demands pedestrians to cough up a whopping 100 coins or be forced to fight him or run away. He is taking advantage of his hulking size to scare visitors into paying him large amounts of money, and he knows he is most likely to win every time. That is the very definition of being a bully. Luckily, he learns his lesson after you beat him and never comes back after that. But to think he chooses to do this and not work a normal job goes to show how pathetic he is. Next is the Mayor Penguin's wife. If you recall, I made a whole video talking about why this character in particular was overly dramatic in great detail and already said a lot in regards to her. So I'll just say she should have investigated more instead of pointing fingers at Mario for accusing him of committing an outlandish crime, such as murdering her husband even though she let him enter their house. And the fact that she didn't even apologize for almost getting him arrested too is absolutely wild to me. Next is Rosie. This is a beauty-obsessed flower who was actually willing to let another fellow flower resident to wilt away because she wanted to keep the water stone she found because it magnifies her external beauty. Lily needed that to actually survive, and here Rosie was keeping it all to herself unless Mario went out of his way and wasted more time fetching a crystal berry flower just to exchange it, when all that could have been avoided had she just given the dang stone to Mario in the first place. These flower characters are something else, I swear. How narcissistic does someone have to be to literally let someone die to stay pretty? That is so mean and messed up. The final character on this list is Tubba Blubba. This so-called invincible beast raised the local Boo village in Gusty Gulch and Boo Mansion and gobbles ghosts as a quick snack. Even though they're already dead, it's as if they're reliving the traumatic experience of dying again. I get that he's supposed to be insecure and deep down he's actually a softie and learns his lesson at the end of the chapter, but even then, if you're hungry, you don't go around gobbling up random citizens who have nothing to do with you. They got ghostly families and friends of their own too, but can't see them anymore due to being eaten whole. So by evaluating every character on this list, in my honest opinion, I think the title of being the biggest jerk will have to go to Kenshi Koopa. He is the epitome of being a bully as he takes advantage of his massive size to shake 100 coins out of innocent people who are just trying to walk through the path when it's initially free and picks fights with them for no reason. That is just plain rude and inconsiderate, and he is worthy of this title. And there you have it. This video ended up being longer than expected, but I found it interesting that some of the normal NPCs ended up being more of a nuisance than the actual enemies themselves, which says a lot about their personalities, but that's what makes this game interesting. Being able to interact with all sorts of characters who are so unique, and seeing how they impact the overall storyline for good and for worse. Thank you for watching. Do you agree with my points listed? And please like and subscribe for more videos like these if you want to.